From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, welcome into another edition of The Horse's Mouth, brought to you by Daily Ad Brief, right here, back in Tommy Mac's, back at the bar, talking business. We're talking mediation this time around. John McCorvey and Jennifer Grippa, welcome to the bar. John, how are you?
Thank you, Tom. Doing great.
Good to see you. Jennifer,
See you.
Pleasure. Tell me about Mile's Arbitration and mediation. This is a new venture for you guys.
We're
Tell me
very
about it.
excited. It's a new venture for me. Jennifer's been a neutral there for a long time, but it's exciting. We have just opened an office in Jacksonville.
Okay.
And what's a little different about Miles is we have a physical office that is dedicated to mediation and arbitration only. And so most of the other mediators in town are independents, I guess you'd say, that don't always have physical space. Sometimes they travel to the attorney's offices to conduct the mediation. So this really is a first of its type in Jacksonville. It's very exciting.
And you've been practicing law here in Jacksonville for a while?
31 years
31
practicing
years.
law,
Wow.
mediating since 2008.
Okay, and now you go into the full-time mediation.
Right.
All right.
I enjoy it. I feel like it's more compatible with what I got into law in the first place for, which is helping people and being more of a peacemaker than a pot stirrer.
All right. Jennifer, how about you? Have you always been in the mediation game, or what's your background? And I know you've been a lawyer for a long time, but what's your background?
I graduated from law school in 2001.
Okay.
So I spent 20 years as a civil litigator, doing commercial litigation, construction litigation, business litigation.
Okay. Yep. Those damn developers are a pain in the butt, aren't they?
I'm a neutral.
No comment.
But I really love helping people resolve their dispute. I've seen things on the front end when they are taking their case to trial. And I see that even though sometimes they win, it's a loss to get there at the end of the day.
Right.
And helping people on the front end try to sit down and work out an agreement to see if they can get through their problems and move on to the next chapter of their lives. It's always rewarding.
All right. What's the difference between arbitration and mediation? What's the big difference?
Mediation is voluntary, basically getting the parties in a room to sit down and try to negotiate something and give them the power to resolve it themselves.
Right.
Arbitration is where an arbitrator decides the dispute for you, like a judge.
So kind of like unions, right? So with the NFL, you'd have an arbitrator more than a mediator.
Right. You avoid court by going through the arbitration process. And Jennifer knows more about it because she is an arbitrator.
Yeah.
I'm a mediator.
Well, the message is, hey, let's work this out peacefully, right? Let's not go through this whole rigmarole that's going to take whatever amount of time. If we can figure it out on the front end, let's figure it out.
That's certainly the mediation. Oh, I'm sorry, Jennifer.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, well, absolutely. I was going to say the benefit to arbitration is it kind of streamlines the litigation process. So instead of spending years trying to get your case to court and then leaving it in the hands of a jury, as an arbitrator, you're selecting the arbitrator that has the experience in your type of case, that knows about that, and that will decide that for you. And it really cuts down on the time and expense to move forward to a resolution.
And are you agnostic when it comes to what kind of arbitration or mediation? Like, is it for family law? Like, there's going to be a divorce, let's try to work it out, or it's a dispute with a developer and whatever else, the landowner, whatever the case may be.
Right,
Is you guys agnostic when it comes to that, or are there certain areas you stick to?
I think most mediators prefer to mediate cases in which they have some sort of background as a lawyer.
Okay.
It's helpful to have some substantive knowledge of the issues involved. Also in Florida, there are different types of certifications. For example, I'm a Florida Supreme Court certified circuit civil mediator. So that's what I'm qualified to mediate. There are also mediators for county court, which is a little lower threshold of controversy, the amount of controversy. You have to have a separate certification for family law.
Okay.
And so you get certified for different areas.
And so one of my brothers went through it recently. Unfortunately, they went through a divorce, but they did, instead of having attorneys do whatever, they're like, look, let's get someone in there and figure it out. And they did. They figured it out peacefully, and
that's
moved on their way. I mean, not everybody can do that. That's my next question. Like, how do you get people? They got to want to do that, right? I mean, they got to want to at least sit there and try to work something out, rather than I'm going to just drop the hammer on them and make them pay. You know what I mean? I mean, there's some emotion involved in these things.
There's always a lot of emotion involved in these things, whether it's a construction dispute or a divorce or a car accident case. There's always emotions. And so that's where it comes in to have a trained neutral who has seen these situations before and can navigate, because every case is different, every person's different, and their emotions.
You're very calming. Like, I could see, like, no one getting very upset with her. She's very, like, a lot of attorneys come in here, they're like, hey, look, I can.
It's a different hat.
Yeah, it is, but it's a good hat.
It's a peacemaker.
I can see why you could be good at being a peacemaker, being a mediator like that, because you got to have a little bit of calmness, some empathy, right? I mean, you got to have those things.
Hugely. You have to have empathy. And in Florida, most cases are required to go to mediation before they go to trial. And Florida just happened to be one of the national leaders in mediation, and kind of started it as a requirement before a lot of other states. And then they found it was enormously successful. And I can't give you the exact percentages, but somewhere around 70 to 80% of cases settle. And so that takes a big burden off the judicial system.
Sure, right.
You mentioned the emotions. A lot of times, Tom, people just need to be heard.
That's right.
And that is done in a mediation setting so much more effectively than it's done in a courtroom. In a courtroom, you have laws of evidence and other lawyers objecting to the witness's testimony. You can just have an informal conversation like we're having now in mediation.
Baseball used to do mediation quite a bit. I don't know if they still do it today, but that's how they would settle disputes on a contract. In football, it wasn't like that. It was like the agent work it out, negotiate, try to find something. There wasn't someone in the middle, unless that player gets involved. It's like, whoa, all right, enough's enough. I just want to sign. Forget all this little knick-knack stuff. But in sports, it seems like you could mediate somewhat easy. I know as a player, you say, okay, well, let's look at the other players at my position around the league, and let's look at their production compared to mine. Let's look at their pay compared to mine, and we should be able to find. Doesn't work like that way in the NFL. The big machine would allow it. But that makes sense, right? That's just common sense. I would think that would apply in other walks of life as well.
Absolutely. It applies in labor and employment, employee type disputes.
Sure. Yeah.
Any kind of business disputes, contracts over pretty much anything.
Okay. Any like discriminatory stuff like that? Does that pop up too?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow, that's emotional.
Yeah.
I mean, I never realized law was so emotional.
Absolutely.
But it is, right?
It's sometimes it's one of the most emotional experiences someone will go through in their lifetime, and we can make that a lot less painful with mediation or arbitration. Arbitration shortcuts it tremendously. Otherwise, a lawsuit, it goes to trial. That can take a long time. And then you've got appeals.
That's right.
And all that.
And that takes even more time.
Forever.
And that's time and money.
Time and
red tape, paper, all of it. It's just working hours. Draining the system. Right? The political let people do what they need to do.
In a mediation, the parties fashion the agreement. It's called the right to self-determination. In other words, you're not throwing it in the hands of a third party, whether it be a judge or a jury. The litigants themselves have input into the settlement agreement.
Right.
And so it's something that maybe both sides have to give a little bit on.
Yeah.
Nobody gets everything they want.
That's right.
But you do a little give and take, and you meet in the middle.
About that.
And as Jennifer said earlier, you move on with your life, which is a much better way to operate.
Yeah, you were going to say something,
well,
Jessica.
one of the cool things about the process too, is that you can craft something, a solution that you wouldn't otherwise get in court.
Right.
And that's very unique. So you may only be able to get money or something when you go to court, but where you can get future business, future contracts, apologies, things that might matter to one side or the other.
Sure.
You can get all of those recommendations for a future job, or getting a job back, or different things. So
getting the money is one thing. Getting the apology is another, right? That's his principle. I want an apology. Okay,
and that happens a lot.
I bet it does. It does. That's where that emotion.
That's where the
side comes in. All right. So what sets Miles apart? What would you say? I'll start with you, Jennifer.
Well,
why Miles?
I will say we are miles above the rest.
Oh, nice.
John Miles.
That's a softball, we call that.
Boom, out of the park.
Nice.
John Miles started Miles Mediation Arbitration back in 2000.
Okay.
He was the visionary for this business. He has over 60 mediators and arbitrators at the firm now. And we have grown. We've grown because we provide an excellent service.
Okay.
Really. We are innovative, passionate about what we do, finding solutions. And we give people an experience when they come in the front door in a neutral space, in a calming space. They relax. They really
you both have that demeanor. It's like you just get comfortable. You know, I'm sure your clients feel the same way, right? Because you got
I think by and large they do.
Cooler heads prevail, right? So you've got to be the cool one.
We certainly do.
Yeah.
And that can really calm the litigants and the lawyers. Sometimes you got to remember, a lot of times you're dealing with lawyers in this process, as well as litigants, and they're trying to look good in front of their client. They may be trying to be more of a sword yielder to show they're
you thought ego was only in football locker rooms.
There you go. So you're dealing with a lot of different factors, but at the end of the day, a skilled mediator can handle that. And I joined Miles recently because I just thought it was a wonderful organization, and the resources, the depth of resources. When you have 60 neutrals, that's a lot of people that say, hey, have you ever mediated a case like this? What approach did you take?
Yeah, sure. Right.
And, it's so much better than just being kind of out there on your own.
Yeah. Cool. John, it's been a pleasure, man.
Good to meet you,
Welcome
Tom,
to the bar. Appreciate it. Jennifer, all the best. Good luck with that.
Thanks, sir.
Go Jags. I know they looked terrible the other day, but new game this week.
Rebuilding year, right?
Whatever. That's like Groundhog Day for the last 10 years. I can't take it. But we'll do it this time right here on the Horse's Mouth. We love talking business with the people right here in the great city of Jacksonville. So until next time, stay safe and be cool. We'll see you right here on the Horse's Mouth.